Why, hello there, everybody that watches. All two of you. I think there's a couple of people that might watch, but mostly it's just usually one or two. I'm not hating. I like everyone that watches, even if you just hit the dislike button. I don't really care because I just love trying to build a community. But that's not why I'm here. It's Tuesday, and of course, something was trending on Twitter, which always piques my interest when I do student loan forgiveness. Basically, I understand the argument why people want to cancel it because they feel burdened by it. But the issue is they took out the loan. They should be held responsible for it. If I cannot get my land loan forgiveness or the house I'm about to build forgive, why should student loans? And that's about the same price um, as most colleges, anywhere between 80 to a couple of 100,000, which is pretty much what it's going to cost. I mean, I'm still paying off my landlord, which is about 68K. Once I get that paid off, I'm probably going to do another 100K, maybe even 1200K to build a house on my property and I have to pay that off. That's about the same as a student loan. Now, I get to do this because I have actually managed my money well, and I'm only taking a loan just because I have to, because I'm not going to pay it right out cash. Even though it might be better off if I were to go that route, but that's neither here or there. I decided to take a loan, and therefore, since I took out a loan, I should pay it back, and I shouldn't do loan forgiveness on it. But people don't agree. And Biden pretty much probably agrees with me a little bit. Biden still plans to restart federal student loans payment in February. That's right. President Joe Biden still plans to restart the federal student loan payments in February, resisting pressure from some fellow Democrats who continue to call for the extension of the coronavirus pandemic relief benefits. We're still assessing the impact of the Omicron variant, but a smooth transition back into repayment is a high priority for the administration, said the White House press secretary Jen Psaki when asked Friday whether the administration would consider extending the student loan payment pause. I would also like to add something here. Just because they put a pause on the payment doesn't mean that you can't pay it back. I encourage everyone, if they get a break, to pay back their loan when the interest is frozen. You don't have to do payments because that's going to help in the long run. These people should have been making payments, anything that they could afford towards their debt, which would decrease the principal, which would have gone a long ways because this is not going to last forever. It can't last forever. I mean, that's how banks make their money is through interest. Now, we can have a debate whether or not the interest is too high on student loans. I don't know what the interest rate is because I'm not shopping for a college degree. But if it's anything more than 4%, that is just robbery. I don't know if it's at 4% or if it's at 3% or 10%. Anything higher than 4% is just robbery. In the coming weeks, we will release more details about our plans and will engage directly with student loan borrowers to ensure that they have the resources they need and are in an appropriate repayment plan. She added, borrow balances have effectively been frozen for nearly 2 years and no payments required on most federal student loans since March 2020. During this time, the interest has stopped adding up and collectors on defaulted debt has been on hold. Both Biden and the former President Donald Trump took actions to extend the pause. Most recently, Biden moved the payment to restart on September 30th, 2021 to January 31st, 2022. But the administration made it clear at that time that this will be the final extension. Some Democrats urged Biden to extend the relief. Well, these Democrats that control both the House and the Senate could have passed a bill for Biden to sign. So they're kind of passing the buck in their inefficiency. They're rather impeach Trump for the third time to make sure that he can't run again. instead of helping the middle class. Senator Majority Chuck Crying Schumer of New York, Senator Indian Warren, and Rep. India Presley, both from Massachusetts, have pressured Biden to extend the student loan repayment pause. Give them a bill to sign. I'm sorry, you have the slim majorities. I think you got a little bit more of a little bit less than a majority in the House, and you got a slim majority. Well, you really have no majority in the Senate, but you have the majority votes in the Senate that you could have passed a bill to either extend this permanently or redid the student loan payments to really lower the debt that these people have. But you're passing the buck on to the president, which I don't really appreciate. You're supposed to make laws. The president is not supposed to make laws by executive order. It's a year. The pause of the student loan payment interest and collections have improved borrowers' economic security by allowing them to invest in their families, save for emergencies, and pay down other debt, the lawmaker wrote in a letter to the president last week. Before the pause, the borrowers were paying on the average $393 a month on their federal student loans, according to the analysts of Roosevelt Institution, which was provided to Schumer and Warren at their request. That means that they collected, the borrowers have been paying roughly $7 billion a month, or about $85 billion a year, once the payments resume. I don't understand that because it's personal debt. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you added credit card debt, it's probably, I don't know, $100 billion a month and $1 trillion a year if you do credit card and housing payments, car payments. I mean, I get they're trying to prove a point here, but it's kind of not, it's irrelevant because it's personal debt. Schumer, Warren, and Presley also continued to urge Biden to take further actions to cancel up to $50K of student debt per borrower. Now, if this is $50K in interest, I'm for it. But if you want to remove the principal, I'm not for that because they took out the loan. I am willing to budge on the interest because the interest is what is keeping people in debt, not the principal. There's a difference between the principal and the interest. The interest is what the bank makes in order you to take out a loan. It's kind of like I'm doing 4% on my house, not my house, but my property. I think I pay just south of 20K off of my loan. About 3K of that is going towards interest payment, and that is the bank's fee to allow me to borrow the money to purchase land without using my money. And I think that's more than fair. I mean, it's kind of high, but I signed the dotted line. Biden said during the presidential campaign that he would support canceling up 10K per borrower, but has not taken action to do so beyond directing the federal agency to conduct review on whether he has the authority. I mean, you do executive order, which may be challenged in court and may be upheld, maybe not upheld. But if you really want to do this, the Senate and the House, or really Congress, needs to give Joe Biden a bill for him to sign to where it will not be challenged. And I don't really think 10K is that much. I mean, it's definitely a lot lower than 50K. And it's really not going to help people. I'm just being honest. That 10K from some of the college loans is really a drop in the bucket. When asked Tuesday about the campaign pledge, Psaki said that the executive authority regarding student loan forgiveness is still under review and added that the president supports congressional actions on the matter. If the Congress sends him a bill, he'll happy to sign it. They haven't sent him a bill on that yet. I mean, which is a true statement, which is pretty much backing up what I've been saying throughout this whole article. This year, Biden has repeatedly resisted pressure to cancel up to $50K per borrower since taking office, making it very clear during the CNN town hall earlier this year that he does not support the idea. Separately, since taking office, Biden Department of Education has made it easier for people who were defrauded by for-profit colleges to seek debt relief. It has also temporarily expanded public service loan forgiveness program to cancel outstanding debt for qualifying public service workers after they made payments for 10 years. Most borrowers with federal student loans have not made any payments since March 2020. I mean, that's an issue. I mean, you at least got to do like $50 a month, something. I mean, you can't take this. I mean, it's a gift that Trump and Biden gave these people to freeze the interest rate. This would have been the prime time to make any payment that goes towards the principal. Once you knock down the principal enough, the interest rates kind of works itself out. Direct loans as well as plus loans, which were available to graduated school students and parents on behalf of their children, are eligible for the benefit. Some federal loans that are guaranteed by the government but not technically held by it, is known as Federal Family Educational Loans (FFEL), do not qualify. Generally, those were dispersed prior to 2010. The relief is even more significant to those who work in the public sector that may be eligible for federal student loan forgiveness after 10 years. This is like if you work for the city or the state or even the federal government, maybe the military. They're still receiving credit towards those 10 years of required payments as if they had continued making them during the pandemic, as long as they're still working full time for qualified employers. Borrowers will receive billing statements or notice at least 21 days before their payment is due, according to the Department of Education. Those who had set up auto payments may need to notify that their loan servicing companies may want those to continue. The federal student loan borrowers can no longer afford their monthly payment. They may be eligible for income-driven repayment plan. Under those plans, which are based off of income and family size, monthly payments can be low as $0 a month. I don't agree with that. You should at least do $50 a month. Department of Education has more information online about the payment restart. The story's been updated with additional information, but it doesn't tell you what the additional information. Pretty much, you got a bunch of people on Twitter that wants their debt forgiveness because they feel they made it under duress, so it shouldn't count, which I don't agree. They made the decision. Their family made the decision. If their family pressured them to go into college, then the family should be burdened with the loans, helping to pay off the loans. Like I said, I mean, how far do we go? Do we do student loan forgiveness, and then we do mortgage forgiveness, and then we do credit card forgiveness? Do we do any type of loan forgiveness? At the end of the day, we have to take some personal responsibility for the actions that we do. Like me, I am not asking for my landlord to be forgiven. With sound mind, I went ahead and took out a loan, which was at 4%. Would have been 2%, but I had no credit history because I got rid of my credit cards several years ago, and that really affected my credit score because I really had no credit score because I had no credit history. And after 7 years, those things get removed. So I was stuck paying the 4% price tag, which is okay. I mean, it's not my fault. I mean, it's on me taking personal responsibility. If I just kept a credit card going or did a credit card through the bank, I wouldn't have been in that position, and I would have been able to get a lot lower percent interest rate. But I'm also doing double payments, which is really attacking both the interest and the principal, paying that off quicker than I need to be, which is also good. If anytime you can make extra payments, make extra payments. They go a long way. I think I looked at my statement. My next bill isn't due until mid 2003 or 23, which is not bad because that's because I'm doing double payments. I don't think we should just flat out do student loan forgiveness. I think we need to get rid of the federally backed loans and make schools accountable for the loans that they issue. So if the schools can't collect on the money, they are stuck with the money bags. And then Congress needs to act and put interest rates limits in place to where if you're getting a student loan, it can't be any higher than 4% because you're not going to be able to pay it back if anything higher than that. I mean, we're talking about education. The other thing is to do is, I mean, the simple solution here is stop going to college. Once the money dries up and they have to be competitive again, they're going to lower tuition, they're going to lower price of college to something a lot more reasonable. And this is where you would want to go into trade school. Trade schools is pretty much pennies on a dollar compared to college education. The training is a lot less, but you also have a trade that you could use and improve on. And over years, you can make a good living. I think the starting wages is anywhere between 60 to 80 as a greenhorn, which is pretty much fresh. You have no working experience. You just got your trade school graduate degree or your certificate. You start making, I think it starts off between 50K to 60K starting out, and you start getting more experience. Start working a couple of years. That could go anywhere up to hundreds of thousands a year, and you do it cheaply, and you don't have a debt that you have to pay off for the rest of your life. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this. Leave a comment down below. Smash the like and subscribe button on any and all platforms, or just the platform that you're currently on. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.